shout out Austin Reeves, man. He got a
Shout out
thousand
us.
a thousand assists
I
recently.
saw
So
that.
I kind of you saw that?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to show some love to him. Obviously, to me, he's probably been our best player this year. I'm not gonna lie, just seeing his ascension,
Just
bro.
like
And
the
I think
most
maybe
consistent,
did
or
I would just say, just in terms of performance, just taking the next step and
yeah.
being somebody that we can count on every night. And
For everyone that didn't know, Shea dropped 54 points that game. We needed every bit of those 54 points. For one,
career high, right?
career high. Shout out to the boy. And it's kind of something that he always gets like harped on a lot. Oh, he's Mister 31 points a game, and I think he's kind of shutting that narrative down this season. He's scoring 40, 50 every other night is what it seems like.
Hey, one question for you, bro.
What's up, bro?
I mean, you said it before, but like Shea can get 50 on any night,
Oh, bro.
right?
We talked about it plenty of times. He can. I think it's one of those like he needed to this game. So he's going to type of deal. You know what I mean?
That's what yeah,
And
facts.
of
Right now they're going through a little bit of a tailspin, but obviously, they gave Donnie Mitchell the nod, and he's been playing at an all-star level. I don't know, in my opinion, this was the one gripe I had. I don't know if he should have been a starter. I think could have been LaMelo Ball. I'm just saying, just with LaMelo's stats, it's kind of hard not to put him in there. But I will say, if we're going for winning in team basketball, it's not LaMelo Ball. It definitely is Donovan Mitchell. And what's going on, everybody? It's your boy ZD, man. I'm back in the building. It's three-man weave. I'm your lovely co-host, and I'm with the main host, CJ. Man, how you doing, CJ?
good, man. How are you doing today, bro?
Man, I'm living a good life, man. It's like I always say, man, it's good when you got another day above ground,
Right.
right?
100%, bro.
Plus, I think the Lakers been winning too, man. We had some good football on yesterday.
Hmm.
Yeah, life been good, man. It's kind of chilly in the ATX, but
Yeah, it has
other than
been.
that, it's been cold, man.
Cold
I
as
think
fuck.
we got a little snow the other day, like it was crazy.
You're
But
right. We did for sure.
yeah, but yeah, man, got a lot of hoops to talk about and just a lot of good stuff. I think I didn't put it in the outline. I don't, or no, I did, I think I did actually. But we're gonna run through the All Star,
The starters.
yeah, the starters, right? Because
Yep.
they got announced, I think 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we got a good one, man. Because I
Yeah.
think people are excited, obviously, to hear the starters, but more importantly, they want to see who got snubbed. Because there's some people who I don't know, yeah,
There's
I
a
don't know,
there's a name that I'll probably
for
bring up
sure.
that we'll talk
Yeah,
about.
there's like a
Couple.
couple, I think. Yeah, there's like two,
Right.
but point is, yeah, we got a juicy one for you guys. We also we talk about the Southwest Division today.
Yep.
Um, do our round trip of three. We'll talk about our three teams because me and CJ have been alluding in past episodes. We want to give some love to the teams that we don't always chat about. Obviously, we know you guys are fans of your team. That could be the Pistons, that could be the Bucks, the Jazz. It don't matter. It's the NBA, so we want to show love. And then yeah, man, we're just gonna talk about our teams as well because they've kind of obviously the Thunder have been doing their thing, but the Lakers have been. I'll just get right into it. I guess
Yep.
the Lakers been doing awesome, bro. I think we talked about the Wizards game, and I keep bringing it up. Like, can we beat quality teams? And no offense to the Wizards, if you're a Wizards fan, I said this on the last pod, but they aren't good, right? I think we talked about it. I think they're the worst road team, worst offensively and defensively, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
They're like the worst
They're like,
team, like in
yeah,
the
they're
yeah.
literally they're bad. So in my opinion, that wasn't really a quality win. But over the last couple days, bro, I would
Yeah.
say we've gotten a couple key quality wins. And right now we're playing against the Hornets, and we're obviously we're doing our thing right now. But
Mhm.
man, starting with the Warriors game, I think the Warriors are also kind of in a tough spot. So I did want to talk about that too. I think their team has kind of been decimated by injuries, poor performance by some of the players that they thought were going to take a rise. And then I just think, Curry and Draymond are getting old, right? They
Yeah.
can't really perform at the levels that they used to. But kind of going into the Lakers and their assessment, I mean, hey, man, our big three showed up this game. Bro, I just love the way that shout out Austin Reeves, man. He got a
Shout out
thousand
us.
a thousand assists
I
recently,
saw
so
that.
I kind of you saw that.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to show some love to him. Obviously, to me, he's probably been our best player this year. I'm not gonna lie, just seeing his ascension,
Just
bro.
like
And
the
I think
most
maybe
consistent,
did
or
I would just say, just in terms of skip performance, just taking the next step and
Yeah,
being somebody that we can count on every night. And
I agree.
I think he's been consistent. If people don't remember over the last two seasons, there's this one game, the last game of the year, it was 2 years ago. It was when the Lakers didn't make the playoffs, but and they lost in the play-in, I think. But he had a triple double in that
Yeah.
game. I think, yeah, it was like the last game of the year, and he ended up hooping. And bro, I think Austin Reeves, like I'm telling you, bro, he's been probably our X factor. He's been somebody who we can count on, bro. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And ultimately, that's something that's really important going forward. Because we haven't always had that at the point guard position. I
Hmm.
think with D'Lo and kind of the reason why we made that trade is because we didn't have consistency at the guard spot.
Right.
But bro, Anthony Davis, I mean, what can you say? I mean, I talked about him in the Wizards game too. This was another game of him taking control of the game and really being a dominant offensive force, and then also just being a glass cleaner and obviously being the paint protector that he is. He showed really good defense in the game, but kind of going through the quarters a little bit. I mean, first, second quarter, we started off pretty strong. I want to say, in the first quarter we were only up by one. So it was a pretty competitive game. Like in the first quarter, I was like thinking about it in my head. I was like, here we go again. Kind of like I was telling CJ, we just can't really beat teams that are actually, there's a little something there. But kind of going into the second quarter, we found our rhythm a little bit. I think we were getting kind of everybody involved, and ultimately, like I've been saying, the Lakers are a really good team when we all play together. This was kind of another game where I feel like we played really well as a team. It was kind of like more of a team win. I know obviously AD dominated the box from like a points perspective, but kind of everybody, I think Gabe Vincent had like 8 points. Dalton Connect, I think, had 14 points as well. So we had a little bit of punch off the bench, and then obviously LeBron and Austin Reeves are our kind of supplemental guys whenever AD's being the focal point of the offense. But I think in games like this, it really goes to show you. How dominant AD can be, and he can essentially win you games whenever
Hmm.
he's playing at a level like this. And the Warriors just had no answer for him, and I think that's ultimately what it came down to. But I want to shout out somebody too that I had in my notes, Jared Vanderbilt. Man, I mean, I've given him a lot of hate over the last year. I've told you he hasn't shown up in big moments, but what can I say, man? He comes back averaging a couple steals a game, playing great defense, and immediately helping our team. And that's what we need right now. We don't need Jerry Vanderbilt's offense. We need his defense. And
Hmm.
again, over the last couple games, he's especially against the Celtics, but against the Warriors, bro, he played a lovely game. And
Hmm.
I wanted to shout out him as well because he's not really going to do too much in the scoring department for people who don't, he's not a big name. So for people who don't really know how he plays, he's more of a defensive menace type of guy. And he was kind of able to hound Steph and hound their guys that were kind of going off because he's just a guy that we can stick on their best player and he could just strap up.
Hmm.
Curry only had 13 points in this game, so he wasn't really a factor at all. And that really is going to hurt the Warriors. If Curry isn't able to score in a high volume way, not just like 20 points. I'm talking 30 points, 35 points, and the Warriors are going to struggle right now. And I think we had the defenders to be able to deal with that. And I feel like, like I said earlier, a couple minutes ago now, the Warriors are just in a bad spot. And we took advantage of that. We won by, a pretty healthy margin in 10 points. And, this is another game that, I was really excited to watch. And obviously we got a dub. But going into my second game, man, this was the game that I was watching because this was Rivals Week, and
Hmm.
I want to say something, man. Like I'm a diehard Lakers fan. Anytime we play the Celtics, like I'm locked. I'm glued to the screen. Um, and I got a gift, man. I got a gift. Obviously the Celtics have also not been playing too hot recently, and that's I think that's a story for another day. We could talk about them. I think we've kind of been talking about them throughout the season, right?
Right.
Kind of like how they've been doing, how they started off the season really strong, and then recently they've kind of been tapering off. But regardless, man, it's still the Celtics, right? So
Hmm.
I got to take the W's where I can. But I think this game, it was the way that we won this game. We won with our defense, and we won with our ability to score. I think the half court offense was ran amazingly by LeBron. I think in the third quarter he really started to take over with his ability to score and then also kind of drive and kick and be a facilitator. If you guys don't know, we did our top five players in each statistical category, a couple episodes ago, and LeBron is in the top five in the NBA in assists. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So he's probably been our main facilitator pretty much all year, and then also using Austin Reeves as a kind of like a secondary playmaker. Um, but yeah, ultimately, man, like I think Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown went ghost this game. Kristaps Porzingis was the Celtics' leading scorer. He really gave us fits. You know, I had that in my notes too. I think Kristaps Porzingis, if the other Celtics play well, you know, this game would not have been close because AD cannot guard him, especially
Hmm.
him being able to shoot from
Perimeter,
how far he
yeah.
can shoot. Yeah, bro, and just being like he kind of reminds me of like a an AD but with a three pointer. I don't know if that makes sense. He can block shots. He has a good mid range game, good post up. But the thing that he can do better than AD is he can shoot threes.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that was like the one thing that I had is we just didn't have anybody that could guard KP. But AD had another lovely game, finished with like 24, 25 points. Continue to dominate the offensive glass mainly, but also just be a menace in the paint. I think these last couple games, he's finally been waking up to be the star that we need him to be, and this is why me and CJ have been saying he's going to make an All NBA team is because of performances like this. I think in the first quarter we blitzed them, we scored 35 points. You know, the Celtics have been absolutely leaking on defense too recently. They're a good defensive team, but not good defensively over the last 5 games. So we blitzed them in the first quarter, and that felt great because, like I was saying, it kind of like a Christmas gift. You know, waking up, I was expecting the Celtics come out with a little bit more firepower, but they didn't. We were
Hmm.
able to win that first quarter, and that set us up really well the rest of the game. I think in the third quarter we kind of struggled to get going a little bit. Um, I know in the first couple minutes, like I was saying, LeBron was eating it up and doing really well. But when JJ made the subs, our bench just wasn't really able to come through for us in that moment. So if you're looking at the box score, that's kind of why in the third quarter it has that little blemish on there. But
Hmm.
ultimately, I think Missoula got out coached in this game as well. I wanted to give props to JJ. I think JJ ran, the perfect offense, but also the perfect defense against these guys. He was able to put Vando on Tatum. Vando had another lovely game. I think he had like 3 or 4 steals. But ultimately, him being like kind of the defensive stopper, it gives Dorian Finney-Smith and our other guys who have kind of, we've put a lot of pressure on them to defend, to play like better team defense. So instead of being like, okay, Dorian Finney-Smith, you got to guard everybody. Now he can guard other people like a Jalen Brown or a Peyton Pritchard or just people who can score 15, 20 points. And that really helps us. And I think, like I said, man, we just need to continue to play defense, and I think we're going to be right there. I think this game was more of a testament to what this is what happens when the Celtics don't hit threes. Let me look at the box. I think they only hit, let's see, 14 threes, and we hit 15. So we like I've been saying, anytime we win the 3-point battle, um, that's a win for us,
Hmm.
obviously, because we haven't been great at shooting for the last couple years. Um, but yeah, I think the Celtics are just jacking threes right now and not hitting them, and ultimately that's hurting them from a winning perspective, right? I think it's going to be tough for them to repeat this year, especially if they don't get their offense figured out. But
Hmm.
yeah, bro, I've been very satisfied with the way the Lakers have been playing. I think ultimately, not to like talk, give too much game analysis because I know people don't always like that, but I think just the way that they've been playing over the stretch of the season kind of goes to show you what they can be in the future, and I think, I kind of steal the cake from you on this one. AD, he had an interview with Shams the other day, and he was kind of talking about, Shams asked him straight up, what do you think the Lakers need to kind of make a championship push, or what do you think you need to feel more comfortable in operating in the way that you do? And he said that he needed another big so he can move to the four. And while that's understandable, we win games whenever AD's playing at the five, and there's not a lot of centers that can guard him. So for
Yeah.
right now, the way that the NBA is made and the way that it's becoming, small ball is the name of the game. It's not really, we're not trying to have another 7-2 guy out there with AD. Like
Hmm.
AD, excuse me, AD can be that hybrid five. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
we also just can't give up those assets. I think Palinka's, in a position right now, we're winning games, we're top five in the West. He has no reason to make a move. It'd be one thing if we were not the ninth seed, we're struggling. Our net rating doesn't say we're good, but clearly we've been playing well enough at home to have a great record. So I think we're one of like the top five home teams in the NBA. So, we're really hard to beat at home.
Yeah.
And that's helped us, get to where we are. But I just don't think the Lakers are in a position to make a move, especially for another big. Um, with the assets that we have right now. I think AD is going to kind of have to eat this one. He made a good point. I do want to bring something up that he said. He said, they were able to win a championship with Dwight and JaVale, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That was a time. This is 5 years ago now, guys. I can't believe I'm talking about it, but this was in the bubble. So 5 years ago, the NBA was different.
Yeah,
That's just the
100%.
truth as well. I think, he didn't say that in the interview, but that's something I'll say here. The NBA changes over time, and 5 years is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now the game's different. It's smaller. We like having hybrid fives, hybrid fours, people that can shoot threes, but also dribble and defend and do everything. It's not putting a 7-3 guy out there and just getting rebounds and playing defense, right? So
Right.
I think AD is gonna have to you know, kind of chill on that perspective. I don't know if the front office likes hearing that.
Yeah, yeah. That was I was gonna bring that up as well, but just kind of piggybacking off of that is, do you think y'all are gonna make another move before the trade deadline?
I don't think so. Because like I was saying, I think Palinka sees it the way I see it right now. As of right now, we've been playing pretty well. I don't see a reason to try to mess that up.
Hmm.
Just the way that the team, like other teams, have been playing too. Maybe we're catching them on bad nights, but you also kind of got to look at the footage and
Yeah,
see how we've been playing and the way JJ's been coaching. And also Dalton Connect's been a lot better over these last few games.
yeah. I
And
was just about
I
to say
said
that
this.
too.
Yeah, so I brought this up probably over a couple weeks ago now, but I said like if he doesn't start playing at a high level, it's kind of our bench doesn't have a ton of punch, but he's been playing a lot better. So yeah, man, I just don't think the front office is in a position to want to force making a move. I think if a move jumps up on the table, sure,
Right.
a Rui Hachimura move that people can't see in the future is actually good for our team. But ultimately, if there's nothing like that and we're just getting rid of future assets to get something now, like I don't think that's smart.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, y'all are a good team. It's just I think AD brought it up in the Shams interview as well. It's just y'all have been inconsistent, and the fact that
Yeah,
obviously
we're really up and down.
you're seeing that, and then someone on the team is saying that it's something kind of reoccurring, But as of late, y'all are doing great, and if you could keep this up going into All Star break, I mean, like you said, y- y'all
We're
are.
fine.
Yeah, I would
We're
say
fine.
y'all are good, bro. Y'all are gonna be a playoff team. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kind
we're
of
not we're not like
it's just what
we're not
seed y'all are
bad
gonna
and we're
be.
not mediocre like you're
Right.
saying. I think we're pretty good. We're pretty good at home
Right.
too. Like that's why I was alluding. I think on the road is where our cracks really start to show, but at home, bro, if we can get home court advantage, I think we'll win one or two playoff series. And again, like you don't be surprised if you see the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, but I'm just saying, I don't know if we'll go to the finals,
Right.
but we could be there. Like we're one of the teams that, can get through that.
100%, bro. Yeah, I agree with you for sure. But was there anything else you were wanting to say about the Lake Show?
But LA, I mean, I think partly why we've been playing so well too is just the fires, and I just think LeBron and some of those guys in the front, they're just, they're in not lose mode. I think they understand the importance of this point of the season and going into the All Star break with momentum, and really, guys, this just lets us like lose games a little bit later too. If we can have big winning streaks, LeBron and AD can sit a couple games, and taking two or three losses later in the year doesn't hurt us. So I see the goal, man. I see it. I think JJ had an interview the other night, and I don't know if you saw it, but they're asking him kind of like, "What are your thoughts on the rest of the season? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna rest? Are you gonna?" He's like, I don't. He said, "Oh, I don't. I think these guys want to. This is a very JJ answer. I think these guys want to play basketball. I don't think they're here to rest. I think they'll let me know if they need to rest, and they haven't let me know that yet. So I think
That's a
LeBron and
good answer.
yeah, no, that's
Like,
that's literally JJ answer. It's
yeah,
straight up. That's how he talks, and yeah, that's how I think about it too. It's kind of like unless LeBron can't go, or if
yeah.
AR needs a break or whatever, then
Th-
we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. But
mhm.
until these guys are, obviously telling JJ, yo, I'm running out of gas, bro. Like I've been playing 40 minutes on back to back. Like it gets tough. I wanted to talk about the amount of games we've been playing too recently. We've played a lot, bro.
Yeah,
I think we'll also the games that got postponed from the fires. Hopefully, we'll be able to make those up too. So I think some of the places where we had rest days might get filled in with games. So we're gonna be playing a lot. I think that's good for us. We need to play as much as possible so we can get that continuity with our new team. But other than that, man, I think I'm good. I think, if you guys were able to, this was Rivals Week, so if you guys were able to catch a couple games, I think all of them were pretty competitive up until a certain point. I know the scores don't look like if you don't watch it, you don't really know, but
Right.
it's definitely more competitive than what it looks like. I think sometimes some of these teams let go of the rope. So when you look at the box, you don't really see that.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Shit, bro. I guess kind of going
You only
to
had one, right? Or
uh
two games? Two games, Jazz
two,
and Blazers.
three Mavs, Jazz,
Oh
Blazers.
yeah. No, y'all been
So
playing too.
yeah, we've been playing.
Y'all been
It's just feel like it's not like it was a back to back when it was the Jazz and the Mavs, but like it's been like split. It's been weird. It's like we'll get like 2 days
Yeah,
off,
they
we'll
had
play one,
yeah,
we'll have like
yeah.
2 days off, and then another one. But kind of go into it, bro. It was actually the day we recorded. I think it was on Wednesday. We went against the Jazz, and we were kind of talking about the Thunder. Oh, this could potentially be one of those games where if we're beaten by a lot, we could kind of
It's Shay.
sit Shea, sit our starters, let them get rest. For everyone that didn't know, Shea dropped 54 points that game. We needed every bit of those 54 points. For one,
Career high, right?
career high. Shout out to the boy. And it's kind of something that he always gets like harped on a lot. Oh, he's Mr. 31 points a game, and I think he's kind of shutting that narrative down this season. He's scoring 40, 50 every other night is what it seems like.
Hey, one question for you, bro.
What's up, bro?
I mean, you said it before, but like Shay can get 50 on any night,
Oh, bro,
right?
we talked about it plenty of times. He can. I think it's one of those like he needed to this game, so he's going to type of deal. You know what I mean?
That's what yeah,
And
facts.
of course, like we weren't talking down on the Jazz, but they know where they're at. They know their goal in the season. They're trying to get the number one pick, and that I think that just kind of goes to show the depth of this league where we're the best team in the league right now, and we're going against probably one of the worst teams, but they're still competing with us, and
Oh, for
it's
sure.
also same, like a division rival as well, so that's always something. And they like you said, they're gonna go out there and play really well, and that's what it was, man. They played great. I think it was more so, like I said, just more like a coming out. I mean, we already knew about when we went against the Cavs and he dropped, was it 40? He went against the
Yeah,
Jazz and dropped 54, bro. It's like kind of, well, what else does he need to do? You know what I mean? So that was kind of my takeaways from there. Obviously, they had majority of their players did great. All their starters scored more than 15 points, and they got Isaiah Collier scoring 8 off the bench. They have some decent players. They're the Jazz, but that when all your starters are scoring 15 points, it's gonna be hard to win that game. But we ended up scraping out with that dub. It was really close in the fourth quarter, and like I said earlier, we needed every bit of those 54 points from Shea. So shout out
yeah,
to him.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then
Shout out John Collins. Yeah,
John
yeah,
Collins did great. Yeah, he was hooping,
yeah.
bro.
Yep.
But kind of going into the next game, we were on a back to back going against the Mavs, and of course that I was talking to you earlier about it, man. It's that they got our number, bro. They've been had our number for really the past season. I want to say maybe even two.
Yeah. To the
It,
past year.
yeah, past year, like full calendar year. But man, PJ Washington, bro. What
Oh my
and
goodness,
I think
man.
someone brought it up to him in like the post game, like it's something every time he goes against the Thunder, bro. I don't know what it is. We only had 8 losses. 3 of those losses have come from the Mavericks.
The more it happens with PJ, the more I think he's just gonna keep doing it. It's crazy, but I think he's like, oh, it's the Thunder tonight.
Like
Like
I'm
he's saying that now.
yeah.
Kind of like with what you're saying. Like I gotta just go off.
Yeah. And I think it's more
Yeah.
so like I'm not making excuses cuz like I said there we the last loss we had against the Mavs, I was praising them. The Mavs are crazy to say this, but they might obviously we know what Luka could provide for this team, but for like the growth of their players and their development, this might have been the best thing that's happened to the Mavericks because the way that
I agree.
their whole team has been playing this season has been magnificent. I mean, Dinwiddie scores 28. Kyrie is doing his thing, scored 24 on 8 for 17, and then you're getting PJ Washington
Always.
almost getting a 2020 game. It's like I
Yeah.
think it's just more so goes to show kind of we're just it's a bad matchup for us in the Mavericks, honestly. Especially when we don't have one of our bigs. Isaiah Hartenstein was injured that game, and as we know, Chet has been injured. Jay Will had a decent game, and J Dub had a magnificent game. But
Great game, I was about to say.
it's one of those things where Lou Dort scoring 6 points. We're getting
Got ejected, bro.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
he like cup checked
Yeah.
PJ Washington. Yeah, we can't be
hmm
doing shit like that, bro. But I think it's like you said, it kind of sucks because we are the best team in the league right now. But the fact that the Mavericks have our number and our history with them last season losing in the second round, it, it's gonna be tough, man. Like I said, I think hopefully by the time come playoff time, we'll have everything figured out. We'll get Chet back. That was the last time we played them, but we're 1-3 against them this year, and we lost to them in the second round in Game 6. So it's
Right.
like you said, they got our number, bro. They might be our kryptonite. I'm not gonna lie to you, and we'll see, bro. We'll see come playoff time where the seeding is and everything, but that's gonna be one of those great playoff series for sure. Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I said, we haven't been
It was
fully
last
healthy, and
year.
I hate bringing it up, but that's definitely a thing. But they've also haven't had Luca, so I kind of wanted to bring it up, see what your thoughts about it. I mean,
I was gonna, I was gonna give you my yeah, bro.
I
I watched that one. I think Derek Lively, Gafford, Grimes, Hardy, PJ. There's a couple. They made these moves like they either made it through the draft or they made these trades that people just don't they just don't give them credit for. I think the Mavericks front office is a lot better than people can perceive for some reason, and I think it does have something to do with Luca. I think Luca ultimately has told Cuban and been like, yo, like I need help. I think that's one of the reasons why they got Kyrie, but I don't think the Mavericks ever dreamed that they would gel this well. I don't, and I truly believe like they've opened up their championship window probably another 3 or 4 years. A couple years ago, it seemed like it was slipping away when they were tanking for Derek Lively, but now it seems like even with Luca, when Luca's in there, clearly they're a lot better of a team. But like CJ's alluding to, I think him being out this season is going to just help them in the future. And obviously in the playoffs, whenever they get there, Luca's healthy. I think it'll be really easy to kind of integrate him back into the system. But they probably play some of the best team ball that you'll see in the NBA. They make a ton of extra passes. All of them play well off each other. I think Kyrie's kind of the main engine, but Washington can go. Hardy can go. They have scorers kind of at all three levels too. A lot of those guys can score in the paint, shoot a mid range or hit a three. So it's tough, bro. I think it's a bad matchup for the Thunder. I think the Thunder have to. I think Dagnall has to just make some adjustments. I think Jason Kidd kind of outcoaches him sometimes. I think Jason Kidd does a better job of making it known the way that they want to guard screens, hedging, playing with pace. That people don't know, the Mavericks used to play so slow, and
Mhm.
since they got Kyrie, they play way faster, and
Mhm.
that's good. It's time to play fast. This is the NBA. We can't play at 100 pace. I think that hurts the Thunder as well. They play faster than the Thunder. The Thunder are a great transition team, but they're not the best transition
Defense.
defense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's tough. I think Jason Kidd does a great job anytime he coaches the Thunder and just kind of knows what they're trying to do. And obviously, I think J Dub was in a position to play well this game. Obviously he did, and that made me happy. I think I was waiting for him to have a game like this, but he usually always plays it against the Mavericks pretty well. They don't really have anybody who can guard him, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, bro. I think it's more about the Mavs than it is about the Thunder. To CJ's point, I think
Right.
the Thunder have been so good all year. We come on here, we talk about them, but like it's tough for CJ to talk about how well they've been doing. So whenever they do lose, it's usually because the other team is good.
Yeah.
Like the Mavericks are just
They're
good. The
good. Yeah.
Cavaliers are just good. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just straight up good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%, bro. That's been like kind of my assessment these past couple games. Obviously, we played the Trailblazers yesterday. Was a little closer than we wanted it to be.
Oh my goodness,
Obviously,
yeah, no, but
Denny
y'all got it done,
I would
bro.
say Denny Avita had 28. Tumani
hmm
Kamara had 24. So they were balling out. And
hmm
then Scoot, who's having I don't think he should be
Why?
getting as much hate. Yeah, like I don't hear the hate, or I don't
I
hear
don't
the
hear the hate.
praise.
Yeah,
Right, I
for
don't hear the
sure.
praise as loud as the hate used to be. You know.
Well, we're gonna talk about the Blazers on one of these episodes, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna ask you about him because
Yeah, yeah.
he's been hooping.
He's been hooping, bro. And like the only thing that I realized with that team, bro, and it's been something this whole season I've been nagging on him about, is just 3-point like defense, bro. Like I was
Yeah,
watching that the beginning
yeah,
of that game, and like the first 5 buckets were all 3-pointers for the Trailblazers, and that's like that hurts, especially when you're playing away. You're having a yeah, like they're the Trailblazers, but we said it earlier, bro. They're all an NBA team. They can win
yeah.
any
They
game,
can all compete.
especially when you start getting it like going early. Like it's gonna be a long game, but we ended up getting the dub. iHeart came back, so I think we've only lost like 2 or 3 games with iHeart playing, so that's good to
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
And like Shea had another 35 ball, J Dub had
Oh man.
24. Joe has been lighting it up from three. He was 3 from 7, had 16 off the bench. So
Hey, I want to talk about the Blazers core. I think they'll be okay. If you're a Blazers fan, you'll be okay.
yeah,
I think last night kind of showed me too again, like CJ is saying, I think whenever the Thunder again barely win or lose, it's usually because the other team was playing really well. I think the Blazers played well last night. They guarded well. They could have led up 140 points to the Thunder. They didn't. I
hmm
think Chauncey Billups has been struggling to get them to guard. But ultimately, when Scoot is playing well and when Simons is playing well, they can win. They could win. They could be in the playoffs.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. They
yeah,
they
this is another Shea MVP game though,
Yeah, I
for
would say
sure.
that they have a good team, bro. Like on paper, they got Klingon, they got Jeremy Grant, they got Aiton, they got Simons,
Yeah. Yeah.
Denny. It's like I think they just need to
Ooh,
figure.
yeah.
I think they need to figure something out, and then figure out who they're gonna keep. Maybe make a couple of trades, get someone like a veteran or something. They'll be good, bro. And like I feel like that this Portland kind of needs it because these past really since Dame left and even the later
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
of Dame's career, it's kind of been up in smoke. You don't really know what to expect from them, but they were making playoffs every
Right.
single season whenever Dame was there.
I
So,
know. Yeah. They would give the young Nuggets a run for their money, bruh,
hmm
So,
yeah, bro.
yeah, they were right there. I think it's sad to kind of see where the Blazers have, they haven't had a ton of success really, ever.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think
They
what
made it
was it?
to
Was it
conference
Walt?
finals, right?
Was it Walton? Have they
Oh,
won an NBA champ? I
yeah.
think
It was
that was the last
Walton. It
time.
was like 70s, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
71. Yeah,
73.
73. Yeah. Here, I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, but point is if you're a Blazers fan, I think you're happy. I think we've said that on other pods though.
Yeah.
Like that's not a surprise. I think Anthony Simons being unhealthy the last couple months has sucked, but when he's there, he plays amazingly. And they're not supposed to beat the Thunder, right?
Right.
This is I think CJ's kind of again in a tougher spot than I am because it's not like a roller coaster. So the Thunder have been very consistent. So the first day CJ talked about them, it's kind of what's going on now.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna beat the Blazers. They're still gonna beat the Jazz, even if it's barely.
hmm
Um, but they've been playing great all year, bro. So it makes me happy. I think they're starting to finally get the love. I was gonna ask you, do you feel like the Thunder are getting the love that they deserve, or I don't want to just say that,
I think
but
so, bro. I think, they're kind of seeing the type of player Shea's. I mean, I've already knew what he was, but kind of became. So they're kind of like
right,
investing into him, like posting like a whole graphic
yeah.
of him saying like, "Oh, this is where he came
The
from."
NBA is definitely
You,
investing into Shea. They better. He's at the top of the. He's the MVP
he's
right
the
now, bro.
MVP
They
right now,
better.
bro. Like he better. Like so
No
it's dope
cap.
seeing that, and then obviously we've been winning, so it's hard to go against like a team that's actually winning.
Yeah,
So
winning team, right?
yeah, so you how can
Totally.
you how can you not invest into that, So and I think like you said, kind of going like going back a little bit to where like the old OKC Thunder where like they kind of had to invest into them and kind of we saw what they became. So I don't think the NBA is smart, bro. Like they don't really care about being a big market team. Like if you're producing wins and y'all are exciting and you have these players, like they're gonna promote y'all. Like, and
You're
I
gonna
think
show
I think
love.
I
Yeah,
think we got another game flex as well. I don't know who it
yeah.
was, but like you said, that's probably like the third
Um,
game.
Who was it? I saw that. I don't want to. I don't
Yeah, I
want to
was
say
about to say
too much.
I
Yeah,
don't remember, but I
I
I
don't have it off
remember
the top of my
seeing
head.
it. But I mean, that's probably the third time this season that's happened for us. So I mean, yeah, no, I think we're getting the love, like you said. I wouldn't say we deserve it, but we deserve it. You know what I mean? Like we've been pretty bad these past couple seasons, obviously besides last season, but kind of seeing the ascension of SGA is kind of what they probably invested into. So you can't beat
Yeah,
winning.
yeah. I think yeah, he's gonna get another. Well, Giannis, Jokic, and SGA will all be on first team. I just don't know who else will be there.
Yeah,
Probably as long as they get the games. But yeah, man. We had a rough night betting, bro. I think we gotta kind of just recap that, get
for
that out
sure.
the
Yeah, get
way.
out the way.
Uh,
I
yeah, I had
I was about to
Curry
say
points, bro.
I hit on mine, but
Yeah, I was gonna say I went 1 for 1 because I think I bet what you bet,
yeah,
so I didn't make any money.
yeah,
Like I
yeah, yeah.
lost my yeah, I just had zero. But bro, Curry had 13 points against the King, bro.
Well,
In the
yeah.
last couple games, I think he's been scoring like 12 points a game.
What's going on, bro?
I don't know. I literally said it on the pod. I was like, oh, I think he's gonna want to shoot. He's gonna be more engaged, whatever. But he seems like more disengaged. Like I don't know. I watched the Kings game and it just he shot 10 times. I've seen him shoot 10 times in a quarter.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't like for them and they lost. So for them to win, like he has to shoot more. I think
hmm
because he really is their only option. It's kind of like with the Jokic thing. It's like, bruh, like
Like shoot,
sorry, but
shoot the
Kuminga's not
ball.
getting 30. Well, sorry, like Kuminga and Pods, they're not gonna get 30 a night. Like it's
Nah,
just not. It's you, bro. It's you.
yeah,
So I went 0 for 1 on that, but CJ can take the cake on his recap.
yeah, yeah. No, so I bet on Domantas Sabonis points and rebounds,
Yep,
and
yep, yep.
I think it was 33 and a half, and he went crazy that game.
I took a same game parlay and then I took them straight. So I think the only thing that hit was Sabonis. So I still lost money because
Yeah,
I did the SGP and then I did it straight.
yeah, yeah. No, he went crazy. I mean, kind of what my analysis or like a little preview of it whenever we were on the pod. Kind of, I mean, he really just did it. I mean, he's been the
Did
best
that,
rebounder. Yeah,
yeah.
I would say he's been the best rebounder in the league this season. And I think who they go against, bro? Hold on, I got you. They went against the Warriors. Duh. They
That's,
don't.
that's what I was saying. The same
Yeah,
game parlay,
yeah.
like
Same game
that's
parlay.
what it
You're right,
was.
right. Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they have no one that could really guard him, and he ended up dropping 26 and 18. So
Yeah, he soared over that.
yeah,
So
cashed
yeah, I
it.
think yeah, man. We'll come at you guys again on Wednesday. Hopefully, I can get hot. But CJ's hot right now, so
Yeah,
y'all,
I think what I'm three or no 4-3.
bro. I think I'm 2-4
Yeah,
because I've been missing. I missed the last 2 weeks. Like
yeah.
Maxi didn't hit, Curry ain't hit. I'm like, damn, bro.
Yeah,
Like this is
bro.
this one's like this is coming up on Wednesday. I gotta be.
Been locked in. How many?
Yeah, that's why I've only been giving out one
I was
though,
gonna
because
say
I'm like,
how many are you gonna give the people on Wednesday, bro?
probably
One,
two.
two. Okay,
Yeah, I got y'all with more. Like,
okay.
it's just like if I'm cold though, I want to be careful.
Right, right. No, I feel you. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
got overzealous one of those nights and I gave three and I only hit one. So I was like, oh,
One,
and then I
right,
gave
right.
one last. I'll probably give two. I'll probably look at the
Yeah, I think
slate.
two
I'll
is like
probably
a
give
happy
two.
medium for
But
sure.
yeah, yeah.
100%.
Well, we'll keep you all updated on that. We'll do a little graphic or something towards the end of the
Yeah,
season. See,
yeah.
keep track of everything. But yeah, that's who I'm rocking with. I'm rocking with the big man, honestly, because I think I've been betting on Cat. He hit twice for me, and I'm not gonna lie, I think
Fair
I've
enough.
betted on a couple times on
I
Sabonis,
ain't
and he
touching Jokic triple double though. Every time we touch it, he decides to get 29, 10, and 8. It's
right
like crazy.
every single
I'm like,
time, bro.
bro, this is crazy. Like, I haven't hit a Jokic triple double bet, and he has the most triple doubles in the NBA,
It's crazy.
and I ain't hit on that yet. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys. I mean, going into our next segment, obviously this got Jokic in there as well. I wanted to ask you though. You want to start off with West or East? We're gonna go through the All Star starters for you guys.
Ooh. Let's start off on the West.
All right, for sure. You want to talk about the West?
Yeah, for sure. So,
Okay.
for everyone that doesn't know, the NBA just released their All-Star starters, which I don't even know how this shit's gonna work, to be honest.
Well, so I was gonna ask you, well, whenever we were talking about it, but if you want to just get into it
Yeah,
now, the format's different. So
right,
yeah, I don't know if being named an All-Star starter has the same weight as it
right,
once did, but I think it's still cool. Obviously, these are the leading getters and who the fans wanted to see,
right.
if it was a normal game. But yeah, you can get into it.
Yeah, for sure. So the first guard from the Western Conference is Steph Curry, of course. Obviously, they're in San Francisco. Didn't really expect anything less. And obviously,
Right.
he's been having a little stinker these past couple games, but I mean, obviously, he's had a decent season this year so far.
And like you say, it's Oracle,
It's
bro. I
Oracle,
mean,
like
you can't have, yeah. Even if Curry was averaging 20 and 5, I think he would have been on the bench, not starting.
right.
But he's having an okay year
Yeah,
if you look
decent
at his
year.
stats.
Second guard is yours truly, Shea Gilgeous Alexander. I mean, MVP front
Third year,
runner.
right, in a
Th-
row, right?
third straight year, second straight all-star
Starter.
starter. So shout out to him. Huge thing for the boys. Like I said, it's just dope being
I
able
think
to
the
see one of my
leading vote
players.
getter out of the pack,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah. For the guards for sure. I don't think he had more
Yeah, for the
than
guards.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think he had more than these next ones, but
Then yeah, yeah, you'll see.
you'll see, you'll see. The one of the forwards for the Western Conference is Kevin Durant, of course, having a
We talked about it. Yeah,
spectacular season. Expected nothing less.
he's been awesome, bro.
It's
He's
been
been
crazy.
awesome.
Super
Yeah,
efficient. I mean, he's fucking 14 years in, 15 years in, whatever it is. It's crazy, bro. It's like he hasn't really
his
missed a
averages
beat.
is going up or
Up,
something weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's eight. I think it's 18 actually. Damn,
18
we're
year.
getting old, bro. That's
Yeah.
wild. I remember when he first entered the league. Fucking crazy. And then the
I think
next,
he's trying to go for like 20, bro.
I think so. I think yeah.
He'll,
I mean, he
he'll
can
get
too.
it.
He's gonna get it. Yeah. The next forward on the list, yours truly, LeBron James. I'm.
LeBron James. I
I.
mean, hey man, hey, yep.
I was about to
Yep.
say I
That's all
don't.
I can
I don't
say.
see anything. Yeah, bro. It's the king, bro. Come on, man. I think I said y'all. You were. I thought you were gonna have two
Yeah,
starters, but
for sure.
um,
I mean, yeah,
obviously,
you gotta
yeah.
get the yoke.
Gotta
But
give it to Yoke. Then last but certainly not least, Nikola Jokic, of course. Second MVP, some say first, averaging triple double, super efficient this season. I mean, we know about it.
I
Kind
think
of like
it's fourth straight year starting, by the
fourth
way,
straight.
guys.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I
Mm,
don't really expect anything less from Yoke at this point.
yeah,
Yeah,
me either, bro. Me either.
and it's
And
crazy too because three of these starters are like older. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
you,
yeah.
Steph, KD, Braun. You know, they're all
They're
Braun's
all pretty.
40. They're
Yeah,
all like
yeah, yeah.
late 30s. So it's kind of crazy. Like they're still kind of running the league in a sense. You
Yeah,
know?
I know, right? I think, the NBA worked their magic, to get those three guys in. They've been hyping them up, whatever,
Oh yeah,
and
the
I get it.
Olympics and
I
shit.
get it.
Yeah,
Like, it's crazy how that works out, but I love these. I didn't have any issues with the West.
I had none at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think our gripe would have been Luca if he was healthy, but
Right.
ultimately I think they got this one right. And I think, yeah, I wanted to see AD in there as well,
Yeah.
but with how the positions are set, I just think it's tough. And KD's a power forward, really, and he's the best one in the West. Like I think there is somebody out. I would choose KD over AD. It's nothing personal, but I just think Kevin Durant's had an MVP like season, and he's still doing it at his
Mhm.
age. It's insane. Even AD's 5 or like 4 years younger than KD, I think,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
3 years, I think, 36, 37. So
Hmm.
yeah, bro. But yeah, going into the East, man. Man, this one's, we'll get through these guys, but I wanted to start with the guards first. Obviously, we got, Donnie Mitchell. This dude's been the catalyst to the Cavaliers offense, and like CJ and I were saying, it's kind of hard not to give the Cavaliers their all-stars whenever they've been playing this way pretty much all season.
Hmm.
And Donovan Mitchell's kind of been the guy for that. Recently, bro, over the last couple games, they have not been doing well. So if you're a Cavs fan, you're probably a little bit panicked right now because they've been losing games. I think Garland missed a couple free throws the other night. They lost. They
Mm-hmm.
lost to a couple. Yeah, they've been losing some close
They lost to
games,
the
and that
Sixers.
Sixers as well. Yep. So, right now they're going through a little bit of a tailspin, but obviously, they gave Donnie Mitchell the nod, and he's been playing at an all-star level. I don't know. In my opinion, this was the one gripe I had. I don't know if he should have been a starter. I think could have been LaMelo Ball. I'm just saying. Just with LaMelo's stats, it's kind of hard not to put him in there. But I will say, if we're going for winning in team basketball, it's not LaMelo Ball. It definitely is Donovan Mitchell. And
Yeah,
more props to Donovan
I
because
was
I thought,
as that was my gripe as well. I mean, statistically, numbers, obviously, All Star is a mix of a little bit of both. I mean, you got to win some games, contribute to winning basketball, but if you're leading statistical category, if you're beating all these, even Brunson as well. I mean, I would say he's having probably a better season than Donovan Mitchell, but like, let's just say
yeah, better
this,
than Dame, right? Like that's what I'm
right?
saying. I'm like better than Dame. Like
Yeah,
I
bro.
don't know, bro.
Right. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. It's that's probably my only gripe. I feel like LaMelo could have potentially been a starter, but they probably looked at the wins and you've only won 8 games or whatever it is.
he's still gonna be an All Star.
He's gonna be an
Like
all star. That's why I'm not
yeah,
worried about it. And if he
yeah,
doesn't,
exactly.
y'all would be the
Then
yeah,
we'll talk.
we'll
We'll
talk
talk. Yeah,
about it. We'll talk about
we'll
it.
talk
But
because I don't know how he wouldn't
he
be,
wouldn't
but
be right.
yeah, exactly. But like CJ said, the next person's Brunson. You can hate on it if you want, but I think he's been a lot better in the second half before the All Star break. He's figured out how to play with those guys. So I think over the last like 15 games, if I'm not mistaken, 29,
Yeah,
8,
he's been
4.
balling, bro.
Yeah, he's been balling, bro. So it's tough. You know, everybody loves JB. It's hard to hate on Brunson because of where he comes from and who he is as a player and what he stands for. He's also a lefty, so I gotta show love to him, right?
Right.
But yeah, man, I think he deserves to be an All Star, and he's been an All Star for the last 2 seasons. This is his third year, so props to him. Next person, bro, JT, Jason Tatum, Celtics faithful. You guys got another starter, another legend, honestly. But yeah, I mean, already been an All Star MVP, Finals winner. Not too much to say about JT. He's probably having the best efficiency year, like I told you a couple pods ago. But in terms of efficiency, I think Jason Tatum's having the best year of his career so far, and he's getting the accolades behind that. I think Jason Tatum's never been short on that. He's always kind of gotten the respect that he deserves with the All NBA teams and the All Star nods. So this is another year of him starting. I think this is also his fourth straight year. This will be the fourth straight year of him
Mm,
starting. I
mm,
think he did 3 straight seasons. 2 years ago, won that MVP. Last season was starting as well, but didn't win the MVP. But you guys get the point. He's just been there.
right.
He'll keep being there. He'll probably be there next year.
Yep.
Going into the next guy too, he'll probably be there next year as well. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, third in the MVP voting or the race. Not really much to say about how he's been performing other than it's been otherworldly, and he's added a jump shot to his arsenal. It's
Yep.
completely changed his game. It's taken it to a new level that I didn't think it would be able to go to. But if he can end up adding a 3 point shot, oh my goodness. I don't know if it'll ever happen, the 3 point shot and the free throws. I'm not expecting it to, but if he can ever get a 70% from the free throws and then get 35% from deep, it would be Giannis
Man's
would be
gonna be
unstoppable.
averaging
But
40 damn near.
yeah,
Yeah.
but again, this is another. I think one of his second best statistical season outside of his MVP year. So he's doing it again, man. It's 4 years later or something. So how is he getting better? And he's getting older, right? That shouldn't be a thing, but it seems to be with him. So shout out Giannis. We've talked about him at length on this podcast, but last but not least, for sure, bro. I think this man deserves it. We've been waiting for him to show up, and he's made the All Star team a couple times. First time being a starter though, Karl Anthony Towns,
Yes, sir.
first time starter. Bro, I mean, what can you say, bro? Second in rebounding this season. I think that's been the biggest surprise, but him from just being an offensive menace and a force to be reckoned with, I think that's what everybody was waiting on, man, that dog. And
Hmm.
that's finally seemed to come out. I think props to Anthony Edwards and all the places that he's been. I think it's helped him kind of learn who he needs to be for New York because New York's probably the hardest place to play.
100%.
New York, LA,
LA.
Philly. Yeah, so it's a really hard place to play. You know, if you don't do well, people hate you, and if you do well, people love you. And Cat's been doing well all year. He's been their best player, in my opinion. I'm sure you agree. Yeah, we don't honestly. He's been probably like a when we talk about like just taking the next step. Like, he's probably top 3 player in the NBA who's taken the next a leap this year. I just
Mm.
think Cat's been Cat can make an All NBA team. My
Yeah,
God.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Crazy.
he might be on the third team or
Yeah,
something like that, which is just insane. But
insane,
he
man.
might make it.
Hey,
Yeah,
the Knicks got 2 starters, bruh.
yeah. So I was gonna ask you, man. They're the only team to do so. How do you feel about that? That's kind of cool, but also weird.
Yeah. No, I thought that it was interesting because like obviously like they're not having the best season as a team, but they have two of the best players in their conference. So
The
it's
East,
kind of
right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
hard not to put them up there. Like we said, I mean, this person or Lamelo over whoever, Trey Young, whoever, Dame. It could have been a conversation, but I mean, I think they deserve it. I mean, like you said, Cat
You
is
just
having.
named the you just named the reserves for the
Oh,
East, right?
it's got to be right.
Yeah, it's like those 3 dudes exactly. I think
Exactly.
those
Yeah,
would be the
that's
guard. Yeah, and then I think there would be forwards. The rest will be forwards, but we'll
right.
see.
We'll
We'll
see,
see.
man.
Because I think when these lists come out, they come out this
Like I was gonna
Friday.
say, pretty soon, right?
Yeah, Wednesday or Friday.
Bet. So we'll be able to talk about it on Saturday then
Talk
for
about
sure,
it. Yeah, 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 for sure.
or Wednesday whenever if it comes out
Yeah,
Wednesday.
whenever they drop. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll definitely be
for
on
sure.
that. But yeah, no, is
Hundred
is
percent.
is there no gripes for you? You think they did it right?
I mean, other than the Lamelo thing, like we brought up, I think yeah, they did it right. I think they did it right with Cat, bro. I think I'm
Yeah,
happiest about Cat. I don't Giannis and Jason Tatum for you, I know is kind of a,
yeah,
but not to take. I texted you about not taking those guys for granted, like people like that. I'm not gonna take them for granted. But am I surprised that they're starting again? No.
no,
Like I think
yeah,
Jason Tatum and Giannis have been starting the last 4 seasons. Like
yeah,
they've been the start. So their front court's kind of, if you're in the East, it's really hard because you have to be a center. And Giannis and Tatum are gonna start if they're
mm,
healthy. So it's
yeah,
kind of like you have to fill that out however you can. And I think Cat's kind of the one guy I think me and you like 100,000% agree starter
yeah. I would
should
say
be.
if he wasn't, who do you think would have been?
Who would be?
Yeah,
Maybe Mobley at the center position, maybe
right, right.
Mobley
Yep, I
or
agree.
another Cav. But
Fair enough.
um, yeah, I just hope they somehow Cade gets in there, right?
Yep,
Because he's that other person you didn't name, but I don't know if he'll get it. But
dude.
we'll see.
I feel
He
like
might be
the
the
East
reserve.
is gonna be a little choppy, bro. There's a lot of good players that have been, like you said,
Well,
Cade,
I think what you said,
Tyler
those 2 dudes will
Hero,
make it. Yeah, I think it's Hero and Cunningham that are kind of.
in
Well,
the
I think
air.
what you said, Trey, obviously with because he's doing his thing, and then
Right.
Lamelo and Dame, it's like those 2 guys are also doing their thing. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see, man. It'll be interesting. I'm
Yeah,
excited,
I'm
and
excited, honestly. Like you
yeah,
said,
bro.
starters are cool, but like since the format's a little different, we just don't know how it is. But like usually it would be like, oh yeah, let's go. Like we know that they're gonna
Yeah,
be.
man, for
But
sure.
I'm excited to see these reserves, bro. Because I mean,
Yeah,
it's someone's gonna get snubbed. It's just how it is. The league is just stacked,
yeah,
bro. You know what I mean? So let's see who it
for
is
sure.
this season. Because was it last
Yeah,
year? Trey, right? Trey didn't get in.
yeah. I think Trey. Yeah, and somebody else too. But I hope Wemby doesn't get snubbed this year. That's all I'm gonna say. They're gonna
I
have to
think he's
put.
gonna be in there, bro. He's got to.
Yeah, okay, okay.
I think
Bet.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a perfect segment into our next kind of we're gonna go around the league for a second. Yeah, just talking about the Spurs, bro. I think they've been putting a lot on his plate though. I think I texted you about it earlier. We haven't chatted about the Spurs in a while, so if you're a Spurs fan, this is your piece of the cake. But I think they're gonna need to do more for him to be successful. I think what they're expecting him to do is it's good for his development, but I think other teams will figure it out, and they don't have anybody else they can go to. I think, yeah, Wemby's going to be an all star, but when you look at their future, like who else is really going to be an all star? I don't know if Keldon Johnson's going to be an all star. I think Castle
Castle. I was
can
gonna say
be.
maybe Castle.
Yeah, but that was a pick you made last season, and we're already saying that. Isn't that
Right.
it's kind of premature?
Hmm.
No offense to Stephon Castle, but like that's really recency bias talking. So
Right.
I wonder how the Spurs are going to build around him because truthfully, since Christmas, you remember what he did on Christmas? I think since Christmas, they've asked him to do too much at times, and that puts him in a. I think they had a great game against the Pacers. They blew them out.
Mm-hmm.
He looked amazing. It was his first game in France.
France.
Obviously, he was playing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you guys didn't get a chance to watch it, that sucks because this was one of the higher scoring games of the year. The Spurs scored like 145 points, but Wemby was just doing crazy stuff, and my opinion, the best part of that about that game was his passing. You can talk about the off the glass stuff or these like logo threes, but it was his ability to get his teammates involved, and I think that's kind of where the Spurs are. They're trying to figure out, okay, how can we play against Wemby and how can we use Wemby to help other people get better, right? And I just think ultimately they've been putting a little bit too much on his plate, and I think I think Wemby is one of those players that you kind of have to please. Like he's kind of like a Luca, where like he will totally look at other options if you don't start winning. He's
Mm-hmm.
definitely has that winner's mentality, and I think again, Keldon. There's nothing wrong with Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. I guess Chris Paul, right,
Right.
Harrison Barnes, and all these other guys. But ultimately, is that really something you can invest in the future? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's going to be ceased to be seen. And so I feel like if you're a Spurs fan right now, you're happy you have Wemby, but what else? What else do you have? I
Mm-hmm.
think Stephon Castle's another interesting piece, but like I just said a couple minutes ago, that's really recent. It's
Mm-hmm.
been less than a full season, so
Yeah,
we can't call him like a all-star yet. I don't
for
know if he's
sure.
going to be that. I think it's a great pick, but I think people were thinking Vassell and Keldon Johnson were great picks, and I just don't know if they're going to turn into what they need. So yeah, I just think they've been struggling since Christmas a little bit to really find how to build around Wemby, and I think it's going to hurt them, man, if they can't figure it out in the near future. I think he's gonna ask. I think I was gonna ask you the one question that I had from you about this conversation. Do you think they'll get a free agent because of Wembanyama and
Yeah.
um, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
I was
I'm
about
not
to
even
say.
gonna ask you who because we're not gonna play musical chairs, but I,
Right.
I do want to hear your thoughts on
Yeah, I was about to
kind of
say, I
why you
think
say that.
he is the type of player that attracts other free agents, regardless of being in San Antonio, because not really a free agent destination. Like, yeah, we
Yeah, it's
have
not a
no
big
no
market,
state tax. We have these things that like would draw
right?
people in,
Yeah,
but like I think Wemby alone is such a great talent. He's an alien, right? So we haven't seen anyone like him, and there is gonna be people seeing exactly what we're talking about and like, oh,
yep,
I can be a deciding factor for if this team is going to win a chip or not, or contend at least.
right.
So, like you said, not really knowing who, but like, yeah, I think so, bro. I mean, he just is that type of player. Not a lot of players
Yeah.
are like that, but he is one of those type of players. So, I agree.
Yeah, to your point, I think it's less about Wemby, it's just about who is around Wemby.
Right.
And I think that's what the Spurs are going to have to figure that like, we were talking about how he's going to be an all-star. You can say that with confidence, but I don't know if you can tell me another player on the Spurs who you think could be an all-star. And that was kind of the point I was going to make was like I love the Spurs. I hope they do well. I think they will do well. And like CJ's saying, I think they'll be able to get somebody in free agency. Hopefully it's a point guard.
Yeah.
We're not going to play any musical chairs and try to guess who it'll be, right? Because CJ doesn't have all those resources in front of him. But I will say it just makes sense to go and get a point guard, right?
Yep.
Not another forward. I think Champagne's been playing a lot better this season, so he's probably the one player, in my opinion, that they're like really extremely happy about, and so on. Obviously, I
Yeah.
think those
So,
two players, I think, are really really good. But yeah, I still think they have a lot to figure out in that department, and kind of going into our next team, we're going to go out east and also talk about another potential All Star candidate.
okay.
I wanted to get your thoughts on the Pistons, sir, and kind of how
Mm.
they've been doing, and I want to hear your thoughts about obviously a Thompson twin, but more about Cade and how he's been able to play so well this year.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Because I mean, we talked about him a couple times in the pod, and we knew what Cade Cunningham can be, but he is actually doing what we thought he could be now. Obviously, all star. He's dropping 30 and 9 a game, damn near.
Yeah,
You know what I
30
mean?
and 10.
30,
Yep, yep.
yeah, whatever it is, and you know, I had like a little talking point, but I'll let you talk about it because it's something that
Cool, cool,
yeah that you
cool.
wrote
Yeah.
down. But I've been super impressed with him, bro. Obviously, there's been a couple injuries that like we said, like Jaden Ivey got injured, he broke his leg, so
Oh my
one of
goodness.
those
Yeah.
things where like it sucks, obviously, but it kind of looks like that's helping Cade a little bit
Helping
because
them,
now
yeah, I agree.
they kind of
Again, right.
initiating him like this is your team. Like with Jaden Ivey and Cade on the floor, it's kind of hard to
It's
figure out
tougher. It's
who's
tougher.
gonna be the main ball handler, right? Because they both can be. So that kind of like it sucks. Obviously, we don't want to see anyone get injured, but it's like it's a reoccurring theme this season. It's kind of helped them in a sense, kind of figure out their
Yeah,
direction of their team, and
great
I
point.
think Cade is hands down that person. We talked about they have Malik Beasley, they have Tim Hardaway Jr. They've surrounded Cade with a lot of better shooters, and that's something that the Pistons have been lacking these past couple of
Right,
seasons. And even
right.
with their draft and stuff, they got Ron Holland, who like isn't the
Yeah,
best shooter, but he's kind of like fitting in perfectly with what
good.
they're kind
Yeah,
of
he's pretty
So
good.
Jaden Duran, they have a lot of good Isaiah Stewart. They're looking good this season, bro.
Yeah,
Contending,
6-4 over the last 10. Yeah.
looking like a playoff team for sure this season. So
Yeah, yeah. And bro, I wanted to shout out JB. Bro, I think JB Bickerstaff came in there and just changed the culture. I think they're no longer losers. They don't look at themselves as such. I think last season I wanted to talk to you and ask you kind of, do you think we'll ever see that kind of I guess in the modern era of basketball, like a 3-30 team, you think? The next couple of years, or is that kind of
I hope not,
that doesn't seem.
but
Yeah, I
like
hope not. I hope
shit,
not.
the Wizards are damn near close to that.
Oh, I know,
You know
man.
what I
I was gonna
mean?
say I think
But
the one team that can do it is the Wizards,
Wizards,
but
but
um,
I
to
don't
your,
think so, bro. I think the league is just it's
they're
enough.
getting a lot better,
Right.
right?
Every team is pretty competent. Like they're not just getting blown out. Like you know what I mean? Like I said, going back
Yeah,
to when we were talking about the Jazz and like the Trailblazers, like
yeah,
yeah, they're
yeah.
bad teams,
Of
but
course.
they're still getting wins. So
Right. And I wanted to show love, if you're a Pistons fan, you're watching this, like I think JB Bickerstaff has ultimately been him and Cade obviously, but I think JB more than anybody was the person that they needed to get in the building to help turn their team around. They had all these players last year.
right,
Another player you're forgetting, Marcus Sasser, of course, like
Sasser.
they've drafted like guys who can hoop, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just a culture thing. And they've seemed to figure it out. Like CJ's saying, I think they'll make the play-in at least, potentially a playoff spot. And that's a step in the right direction. I was actually going to ask you, sir, comparing them to the Spurs core, do you think the Pistons have a better core than the Spurs?
I do. I think they just have
I
a
do.
more talented core. Like their potential is higher than what the
Right?
because
They've surrounded Cade and they're all-star with better players
players, yeah,
ultimately.
yeah. Because I
Yeah.
mean, I shit, I could probably see Jalen Duren being an all star, like
Me too.
confidently. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, for
no one
sure.
on the Spurs, I was like, oh, he could be an all star,
Exactly. That's
and
why I brought it. Yeah.
so yeah,
It's if you're a Spurs fan, like I said, like not to worry or anything. I just wonder who else besides Wemby,
right,
and that question will get answered over the next few years. But when we're talking about the Pistons, they have it now.
yeah,
I think they had it. They just didn't never had a. I mean, I love Monty Williams. I know you do too. Great guy, great coach, coach of the year, like legend.
legend,
If
yeah,
I got to talk to him, I would be so happy. I just don't think he was good for their culture. I think he was there to make a paycheck, and I think JB's there to coach young men.
and
And that's
change
kind
the
of what you're
culture of the
yeah,
team.
and change the culture, right?
Hmm.
And I think ultimately that's what you're getting with the Pistons right now.
Yep,
That's why they've been playing above 500 ball all season.
yeah,
So I feel like we definitely have to talk about them for a couple minutes, but staying out east, bro, definitely last but not least. Talking about the Raptors, man. I don't know. I have a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. Obviously, with Scotty Barnes coming back and kind of their core as well. This is another team that they know exactly where they are, bro. And I think I sent it to you in the text earlier. I think their core is one of the better ones in the NBA as well. And
hmm,
people kind of forget that RJ, Scotty, Emmanuel, Grady Dick, right? Davion Mitchell. All
yeah.
these guys are super young, and I would say they're not even in their prime yet. So what are your thoughts on the season that they're having so far? I know they're not winning a ton of games. They are on a 3-game winning streak. But yeah, kind of what are your thoughts on the way that Scotty Barnes been able to impact what their franchise is doing, trying to surround him with certain players like an RJ Barrett and Quickly and other players like that?
Right. Yeah, I think Scotty Barnes, his we kind of we knew what type of player he was coming into the league, but the fact that he was able to
He's
translate
good,
pretty
bro. He's the
seamlessly.
real
You know,
deal. Yeah.
he reminds me of like obviously not as polished, not as dominant, getting to the rim, kind of like a Giannis. You know what I mean? Like a
Me
big
too, bro.
forward
I was
that
gonna say
can
that.
rebound, pass, like
And he can
initiate
guard. Yeah.
guard. Yeah, no, he's super good for them, bro. Because you know the Raptors since Kawhi leaving has kind of been in shambles, and they haven't really
Can I
had
ask you a question?
what's that, bro?
Bro, do you think he's the reason why they traded Pascal and OG?
Yeah, yeah. They stepped away from because they I mean you know obviously but I don't know if the audience knows Toronto was kind of
Right.
holding on to those assets for a really long time, waiting to get
Something back
picks,
picks,
something back,
value. Right.
because I mean that core was there for a while, you know, prior to Kawhi being there and then a little bit after Kawhi left. So they were trying to figure out what direction they went in, and them kind of was Scotty what a third pick, fourth pick, what was
Yeah, third pick.
third pick, yeah, yeah. So you know
Yep.
them getting him, I would say he's a great starting piece for them, and they're doing a great job, like you were saying, of building around him. You know, like you said, R.J.
Right.
Barrett is, you know, he's having a decent
Awesome.
season. Yeah, Emmanuel
Yeah.
quickly has been injured throughout the
Awesome.
season. Yeah, but he's been having
He's
good.
awesome.
He's awesome. Grady Dick, like you're surrounding him with the type of players for him to be more successful. You know, like shooters,
Right.
people that could score. Because Scotty's gonna be there on the defensive end, and it's just kind of once he
Right.
gets his game polished, gets a better jumper, you know, kind of gets to the rim a little bit more. You know, he's like a mid range type of person. You know, and he
Yeah,
rely.
man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
no. Yeah. It's the like you said.
Canada, eh?
They're
Yeah.
doing a great job of being bad, I guess, is a great way of putting
That's
it,
true. That's
because
true.
the draft is something where this season they'll probably be able to get a solid pick, and they could probably going into this upcoming season, expectations might be a little bit higher for them because of it, you know.
Or use it to trade for a person. Yeah,
Or
the Raptors. So I was gonna say that if you're a Raptors fan, you're happy. Not necessarily with the product per se on the floor on a consistent basis.
right.
That's something I wanted to bring up too. They're not consistent. They're one of the more inconsistent teams. I think when Scotty Barnes is healthy, though, they're really good. And like
Mm-hmm.
what CJ's saying, I think their front office completely changed their future because of Scotty Barnes and what they actually had there. I don't think they realized he was gonna be like probably an all-star for a long, long time.
Right. Yeah.
So they were like, okay, we can trade these guys confidently and kind of like CJ's saying, really build through the draft. But they've looked good. If you guys get a chance to look at the Raptors ever, like you'll see they play hard, they play good defense. I think their offense gets stuck in mud at
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
They need better 3-point shooters to really have I think complete their table that they want to build, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
of players that can help them win a championship again. But ultimately it's been a up and down season for them. But I think in the future they definitely are looking up for sure. I think the Raptors are going to be one of the more competitive teams that you'll see in the East in the next couple years, and that's if you're a Raptors fan, you're happy.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% agree, bro. Their future is definitely bright, and they own their picks. They got young talent. Yeah. They're straight. Like you said, they're in a good spot.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, they're in a good spot. And again, like not to harp on the Spurs, but I just think, yeah, I think you have to assess where you really are, and kind of why I grouped all three of these teams together is just so you guys can get a better picture of like what are the cores that some of these worser teams are working with. Because yeah, they have fans, bro, and I know people want to see the Raptors do well in the future, or the Pistons or the Spurs. So yeah, I think this is a good segment. I wanted to see your thoughts on those three teams.
Oh yeah, that was a good list of teams too. You know, the teams that they're not doing the best, but they have like, or obviously Pistons are doing really well, but Raptors and Spurs have kind of fallen
Right,
off
the
with
Spurs
these.
are like,
Yeah,
eh, yeah.
but like it's cool seeing that because a lot of people probably aren't thinking about it like that. You know, they're not looking at like the future of a team, or they're just looking at the product
Crazy
on
you
the
said
court.
like the Pistons are the best one out of those three.
It's kind of crazy to say that, right? Especially after last
Yeah,
season.
for sure. So shout out JB, man. Like
Shout out
yeah, he's
JB,
he's done awesome.
Caden them.
Yep,
But
yep.
going into our last segment of the show, for everyone that doesn't know, I've been asking ZD who he thinks the best player from each franchise is, and this is actually going to
Yep.
be the last division in the West. It's going to be the Southwest Division. So for everyone that doesn't know, all the Texas teams, and then Memphis and New Orleans. So starting it off, sir, Who do you think the best player in Dallas Mavericks franchise is?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not as black and white, especially in the future. But for right now, gotta go with my boy Dirk, man. I mean, he's a legend, man. He is the Maverick. He is whenever you think. I mean, he's got the statue, man. I mean, what you can't take that away from people. I think one on one team, if you're able to have 16, 17 career with one team, Tim Duncan, Kobe, Dirk, like that says something about your character. I think what he was able to do for that franchise as well, bring them a championship, like he was a winner. I just think he's paved the way for people like Luca and other Mavericks to have a legacy there, and Dirk will never be forgotten, ever. One of the greatest scorers ever, man. Probably a top five scorer of all time. Just invented the fadeaway, basically,
Yep.
the way you're supposed to do it. So yes, it's got to be Dirk for right now. But Luca will compete, especially when he retires.
Mm.
I don't know if that could change, especially if Luca wins two or three championships.
Right. Bet going into the next team, who do you think the best player in Houston Rockets franchise is?
This is a great question. Man, yeah, man. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I think it's Hakeem Olajuwon, man. Um, I gotta show love to Hakeem the Dream. I think whenever you think of the Rockets, you think of Hakeem. It's no slight to James Harden. Obviously, whenever
I thought
people
you
are
were
gonna
gonna
want me to
say
say,
James Harden. I'm not gonna lie to
nah,
you.
nah. I think I think skill wise, sure, James Harden might have been better than Hakeem, but bro, for winning for your city, I think Hakeem with those two chips, obviously, he was during the Jordan era, so it's pretty much impossible to win if Michael Jordan's in the freaking NBA, but he was still able to do amazing things for that city, and I feel like Olajuwon just he doesn't get the love that he deserves. I feel
He
like people
doesn't.
would definitely go with Harden, but Harden didn't win any rings, unfortunately, and that's something you gotta think about when we're talking about best franchise player. Usually, your franchise player brought you some type of winning asset, and unless you're a young franchise like the Thunder, right? They haven't been around a long time.
Mhm.
It makes sense, having guys in there that haven't won a championship yet, but the Rockets been around for a while, so I got to show love to Hakeem.
Bet. That was a good answer. I like that one. Who do you think the best player in Memphis Grizzlies franchise history is?
Man, this is a good question. The Grizz, bro. Man,
This is actually a really I
this is a
like
good
a
one.
really
This
good
is a
one. I'm
good
not gonna
one.
lie
I
to you.
like this one. Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie. Like I have to think about this one.
All right.
I don't want to just say somebody. Because I'm going through. I'm like Zebo, Rudy Gay, like maybe even Mike Conley. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't want to say Ja. I just
Yeah. I'm
think
about to
Ja has
say.
so much work to do, bro.
Yeah.
You know. Um, Bro, I'm gonna go with Mike Conley. I'm gonna go with Mike Conley. I think whenever I think of the Grizzlies, man, I'm gonna be real. Like the Grizzlies are a younger franchise. You can go with Marc Gasol, that you can go with Zebo, you can go with Rudy Gay. But whenever I think of the Grizzlies, bro, I think of Mike Conley. First, $50 million player ever, one of the most consistent players ever. And if you guys don't know, I mean, this is where he got his name from, bro. They call him Mr. Consistency. It happened on the Grizzlies. I mean, he was doing everything for that team, man, and he was really the person that was getting them going. I think he was averaging like 15 and 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what he's done for that franchise, like you can't really take it away. But yeah, they haven't had a ton of franchise success, bro.
Mm-mm.
There's not a player that's won them a ring or done anything, so it'll be very easy to become the franchise player of the Memphis Grizzlies. And I think Jaw's already in the top three.
Yeah.
That's kind of goes to show you like he doesn't have that much further to go. I think after a couple more seasons of seeing Jaw in a Grizzlies uniform, bro, we're gonna have to give it to him.
Yeah. I was about to say. Do you think if he if he makes it to the finals, would he be the best Grizzlies? Because I don't think they've even made the finals.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think they have a. There's not a. They haven't won a championship yet, and I don't think they've made the finals.
Yeah, they've been
I think they're
to
one of the
a couple Western Conference, I think, or at least
conference
one.
finals. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, that's crazy to think, right?
Right,
It's
right. And so, yeah, that's crazy, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, I gotta go with Mike. It's either Mike Conley or Zebo or Rudy Gay.
Valid,
Like
valid.
those three would all be acceptable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I was thinking of like Zebo or even like a Tony Allen type shit, like a grit and grind. I wouldn't even say
I
he's
was
the
thinking about him
best.
too, but I was like, nah, he's not. He's not
Yeah,
there
can't
yet.
put it right. All right. Who do you think the best player in New Orleans Pelicans franchise history is?
The Pels, uh, probably AD, and it's crazy, man. I think they may never have another player like that. I think they were expecting Zion to really come in and be the next guy, but that's not looking like that's gonna pan out. And that's okay. I think Zion can end up leaving New Orleans one day, and he'll kind of just dissipate into thin air. But from a statistical perspective, um, what he was able to do. I mean, he led them to the playoffs against the Warriors when Curry had that corner three and his dad was going crazy. This was back when this was like before Curry was Curry, bro. Like this was when they were hooping against the Pelicans and yeah, I just remember AD, man, just being such a force on defense mainly. Just what he was able to do at his age and being on Team USA. I got to give it to him. I think he's still the Pelicans franchise player to this day until somebody trumps it. I think it's got to be AD.
Bet. Good answer. And last but not least, who do you think the best player in San Antonio Spurs franchise history is?
Yeah, man, Tim Duncan, without a doubt. Mr. Fundamentals, but I just what he did for the city and like I was saying about Dirk, kind of the same thing. David Robinson did it too, but just staying with your entire team for your entire career kind of goes to show you his longevity and what he was willing to endure. And hey, man, he was a winner too. He won a lot more championships than Dirk did. And, again, man, whenever you go to the Spurs arena, you see those banners. They're all from when Tim Duncan was playing, really.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes to you like he built that dynasty. Him, Tony Parker, Ginobili, guys like that. But if you're not saying Tim Duncan, Mr. Spur, I don't know if you know basketball. I think Wemby has a chance if he can win these finals and really get the accolades. And in 10 or 12 years, maybe that answer could change. But man, it'll be really hard to knock Tim Duncan off of being the number one Spur of all time. Let me just say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, do you think he'd have to win more than Tim Duncan
He'd have to win
or
at least four.
four
He'd have to win at least four.
couple DPOIs type thing, like
He's gonna win the DPOIs, but I mean like the winning
the
for real for your
chips?
city, yeah, bro, you gotta win. That's tough. And he did it against like pretty good
Probably,
teams, like
yeah.
ever.
Yep.
Like Tim
Facts.
Duncan is. We talked about it with Steve, man. Shout out, but it kind of helped us put that in perspective. Like when we went through his ESPN and his bio, it's massive. He has all the accolades in the world. So shout out Rue for that, man.
Yeah, facts. Well, this was this segment of best franchise player. Next Monday will be our last one, so I'll come up with another segment that we could do on Mondays. I think that this was a good,
100%,
good
100%.
little exercise.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
fuck with it, bro. But we'll end it
For
off on
sure.
the Atlantic Division. So
Okay, cool. That's in the East,
that's
so
in the
yeah.
East. It's Celtics, Nets, Knicks, Sixers, Raptors. So stay tuned for
Cool.
that. Also, I edited. I'm gonna edit these up as well and kind of put them out for y'all. I just finished the first one, so kind of want to get a couple on the backlog so we can have it and
Right.
post it consistently for y'all so you can see it. But I think y'all really appreciate it. It kind of is really engaging. Shows whatever ZD's talking about a certain player. I want to kind of put certain scenes from their
Yeah, it's
career and
specific to what we're talking about. It's
so
very engaging.
so
Yeah,
to
I
keep
like
y'all
that.
locked in and just put more content out for you. We enjoy doing these, but we're trying to get more exposure, and I think that'll be a great way of doing it. But
100%.
was there anything else that you want the people to know before we head out, Z?
Oh man, that was it was another lovely episode of Three Man. You know what I'm saying? I think just I think it'll be really dope too next season, like seeing all these videos and just going back. You'll be able to see, bro. I think like CJ was just saying, that's one of the reasons why we love to do it is just the consistency. It helps us, stay on top of all of our teams and then, checking out everybody else, kind of see what their team got. I'm not a fan of every single team in the NBA. I know you aren't either, but I kind of become one through this. So
Right.
I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful for this conversation. I had a great one. I
Yes,
don't got
sir.
anything else.
Man, yeah. Well, if y'all liked and enjoyed this episode of Three Man Weave, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll check y'all next time, man. Peace. Three man.